Hi guys, this is Dee, and this video is probably the most serious and important video I've ever made. It's not about my outfit of the day, it's not about my hair. This is about living and dying in our country, and this is all about to change March 17th. So I'm going to start off by telling you I'm a registered nurse, and you know that, and I've told you guys before, but I'm also legally educated as well. So I've used that in my nursing career to get myself into political healthcare positions and healthcare positions that have enabled me to work with social programs and legal social programs to help those who need it most in our communities. So that's a little bit about me. What that also has done is allowed me to read legislation and to read the laws and to understand what's going on, but to read so critically and accurately and understand what I'm reading, because it's not written for an average person to be able to read it and understand it, which is a barrier, and it should be different, but unfortunately it isn't. The other thing I've noticed when I've been reading this legislation is that the way the law is being changed as of March 17th with regards to how we live and die in our country has been written in such a vague manner that it's very much open to interpretation by the physicians that are going to participate in this program. So what I'm talking about is the MAID program, which is medical assistance in dying. It started out as a good program, but it scared the hell out of me because I knew it was a slippery slope, and I knew that it would take us to very dark and terribly dangerous places, and that's where we're heading now. So right now, the medical assistance in dying program was started to enable those who were going to die from a certain number of illnesses and diseases which were qualified or disqualified under the Act, and it was to enable those who were going to die a terrible death, a prolonged death, and a death that could not be avoided or treated in any other manner or prevented. So this was a good program. This helped a lot of people who were suffering unnecessarily to die with a little bit of dignity and without suffering for ages and long, prolonged amounts of time unnecessarily. So this is where it started. But this is what's happening March 17th. The diseases that qualified have now opened up to mental health is number one. So anyone with mental health issues now qualifies to die with assistance from our medical health care, like our medical profession and our healthcare system. So if you suffer from serious depression, any personality disorders, any sort of schizophrenia, any of these mental health issues, particularly what's most upsetting to me is those with personality disorders and those with depression, because depression is something that can come and go. It's also something that if you find the right doctor who really wants to work through it with you, can really help you improve your quality of life, and not necessarily beat the depression, but work with the depression to engage in a quality of life that is worth living and that you can enjoy. So for instance, trying medications, trying multiple medications, working with clients and patients to change lifestyles and to help them engage in social programs and different programming that will help them to beat depression. Depression also is divided into two categories. There's environmental and critical depression, which is become it's something someone's suffering because of an event or a circumstance they're going through, such as the loss of a job, or they flunked out of their exams, or a breakup, or a family falling apart, or something to this nature. Then there's organic depression, which someone is suffering through naturally because of brain chemicals, both of which can be controlled and treated with medication, with CBT, with different therapies and different treatments, and that we have so much of, but are so expensive to be able to tap into and to acquire for yourself if you need it. It's the option that the government's giving us instead of these expensive treatments is death. So the second part is, which makes this most disgusting, is that all you need to be is 18 years old. So let's say you're 18 years old and you've broken up with your boyfriend and you feel like the world is ending and there's no future, or you flunked out of your exams. I apologize, I'm not crying. My eyes are watering from allergies, but let's say you're going through a critical depression and it's because of an environmental situation that's happened, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a parent, or something awful, and these kids can't pull themselves out of it, and they need a lot of help, a lot of support, and a lot of accommodation to be able to get through it. And maybe time is what's going to do it, because you know what? This too shall pass, just like everything does. And you know what? Some depressions don't pass so easily, but that's where our healthcare system needs to step in and step up and say they're going to support these people and help them work through it, no matter how much it costs, no matter what therapies and treatments they need, and no matter what medications they need. We're going to help them get through it. You know what? The other thing that's happening is that the doctors that used to participate in this used to be just government paid healthcare workers. Now, a doctor can prescribe you death by cash, being paid by cash. So if you have the right amount of money and the doctor you go see happens to be one that values money more than life, which there are doctors like this, like there are in every profession, people who value money more than their own morals and values and their own, I'm just so horrified by this, than their own dignity and self-respect, then they'll take that money and they'll write you a prescription to die. The other thing, which makes this even more terrifying, is that one of the safeguards that were in place before that made this a safe program was that there was a 2-week cooling off period. Just like there is if you make a major purchase in life, the government allows us a cooling off period. And there was a 2-week cooling off period for medically assisted death. Whereas if you went to a doctor, the doctors agreed that you had a disease that was untreatable, you were going to die, there was no other way around it, and it was going to be a painful, prolonged death, you would have to wait your 2 weeks to go to the pharmacy and get that prescription. You had a 2-week waiting period. As of March 17th, that waiting period is gone. There's no more period. You go to the doctor, you pay your cash, you pick up your prescription, go to the pharmacy, cash it in, go home, have a few drinks, and take your pills, and off you go. You can die. You can make that choice, and you can die. It's unbelievable what's happening. I just can't believe it. So we've taken away the safeguards. There's no more 2-week waiting period. Now you can be a child. You can be 18, and as far as I'm concerned, 18 is a child. If you look at yourself when you were 18 and what you are now, you are a different person now than you were when you were 18. And 18-year-olds are still in puberty. They are going through hormonal ups and downs, just like many people are at different stages in life. But at 18, it's at its peak. It's a very difficult time to be going through critical, difficult situations. There's a lot of mental health issues for 18-year-olds. There's a lot that they're going through. The other thing is that it seems like a strategic way to get rid of our homeless population, to be honest, because the predominant issue with our homeless population is that they suffer from mental health issues and they don't have the resources to acquire the proper help, the medical help, the social services, the community supports to be able to treat and care for and manage these mental health issues. So instead of living out in the cold, being hungry and having nowhere to live, they can choose to die, because that's the only option our government's giving them, because we are not supporting any additional supports for homelessness in our country, just death. So that's another disgusting, disgusting factor with this. I don't know what we can do about this. All I know is that as of March 17th, it hasn't been publicized. We're not seeing this on social media. We're not seeing it all over the news. This has been kept very hush-hush. It's very quiet, and the reason is because everyone knows it's wrong, and it's being kept quiet for a reason, because people will speak up against it, and if they do, this bill wouldn't have passed. And unfortunately it is, and the act will stand. And I don't think there's anything we can do about it, but maybe we can make some phone calls. We can call our local MPs, we can call our local legislators, we can get involved that way, and at least speak our mind and let them know that we're disgusted with the changes that are being made, that we're turning a potentially good program to help people who have been unfortunately and unfairly given a death sentence anyway, which is terrible on its own, and given them a little bit of dignity and a little bit of say in how they die and when they die, as opposed to letting them suffer for prolonged horrific periods of time. We've given them that gift, and instead we've turned this into a weapon instead of a gift. So this is a weapon that's being used against people with mental health issues, against the homelessness, people suffering from extreme poverty, those who don't have access and the ability, the cognitive or social ability to access the resources they need to support them with the illnesses that they have. And maybe if we make some calls, we can stop this from sloping right down to the next step, because who is next? Right now, it's the mental health population. Who's next? Who's the next group of people that the government decides their lives aren't worth living? This is scary, because I can see where this is going, and anybody who thinks this through clearly can see where this is going to. And once it goes to the next step, then they can start dropping the bar. They can start dropping the bar about whose really life is worth value and whose life isn't valuable anymore. And that's what the government's deciding, is whose life has value and whose life doesn't right now. And that's a right that they shouldn't have. And it's somehow slipped through, and they've done it because it's been done quietly and sneakily. And we all need to speak up and do what we can to make sure it doesn't get to the next step. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to stop this. We're at the end of February, and this is coming up March 17th, but we can do what we can to stop it from progressing to the next step. So guys, I am sad and disgusted that I have to make this video on my channel. I love my channel. I love the videos I make. I have fun making them, and I think they're a good time, and they're funny, and they're enjoyable to watch. And this isn't. This is the opposite of the videos I want to make, but it had to be made, and I had to speak up about it. So let's all do what we can. Let's make some phone calls. Let's help stop this from going from where we are now to an even worse and darker place, because this is dark enough. This is as sick as it can get, and let's hope it doesn't go any further, because as of March 17th, guys, life and death in our country changes, and it becomes a targeted weapon and not something that's a natural part of life, and not something that we've chosen to help people who are suffering through dying, to do it in a dignified and respectful manner. Hi, baby. You can't be on the video, love. I'll come and see you in a minute. Anyway, guys, I hope everyone has a good day, and I'm really sorry to have to make this video, but I did, and let's all do what we can to make sure we don't go anywhere further with this and it ends here, because this is a sad enough place. So you take care, guys, and I will see you all shortly. And the next video, I'm sure, will be a lovely, fun, and enjoyable video to watch, and this one certainly isn't. Take care, guys.